Good evening. In this video we're going to talk about MORTSAFEs, otherwise known as grave cages, and mismeaning behind it that most people have. I'm going to tell you the reason why they began to begin with. Most people think it deals with vampires and zombies and paranormal coming back. Mm-mm. It all started to prevent grave robbing. And what I mean by that is they were put over the graves because back in the early days of the early 1800s, medical schools used to pay people for corpses, for medical students to, you can only imagine. So, with that being said, some people, they would exhume the corpses, cut the bones in half, and put them into separate containers to make even more profit, free profit, off of the deceased corpse. So that's how and why there are cages around some graves that you see. And it was notorious over in Scotland and the Europe. So, I'm hoping you find that interesting, because most people, you go to a cemetery, you see it, and people are like, oh no, it must be cursed and they're trying to keep them from coming back. Back in the grave robber days, yeah, jewelry, they could make a little profit from stealing jewelry, but they could make a whole lot more money from the corpses themselves. So, what do you think about all that? I mean, is that something that you wouldn't have no morals and you would do it back in those days to make money? Or are you like me and would try to protect the deceased from having that happen to you? So, when you see a cage and you want to impress your friends, say, hey, that's a MORTSAFE. And they come in different varieties. Here's another thing. They used to bury people in cast iron coffins too, caskets, because they're impenetrable. There you go. Impenetrable. And help. And of course, if someone passed of a disease, you wouldn't want no one, a grave robber coming along and digging up that corpse and then spreading that disease even farther either. So lots of uses and reasons why the MORTSAFEs are used. You got some with fencing going around it, real tall fencing, cast iron fencing. Makes it harder for the corpse to be exhumed. And, it's just kind of an interesting history on that. And just to think, the medical field and government and medical hospitals and all that were corrupt way back then, just like they are now. So, history always repeats itself, and there's rules and guidelines. So I hope you learned something by watching this. If you did, awesome. If you didn't, eh. If you didn't care, eh. If you did, awesome. Thank you for watching.